Warning. This program contains strong language, auditory violence, and mental nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to your uncensored home for all things Warcraft. With your hosts, Berzerker and Navox, this is Unshackled Fury. Whip out your Wolpertingers, tap your kegs, and get your ram saddles ready, because it's time to roll out. Welcome to episode 59 of the Unshackled Fury podcast, your uncensored home for all things Warcraft. I'm your host, Berzerker, with my Yeti at the ready, and with me as always is the Tom to my Jerry. He is Navox. Welcome back again, sir.
Yeah, I like that one. That was a good one. I like that intro.
It's all the important things we have going on right now.
Yeah. Yeah, all the important things. Oh, let me tell you, the listeners missed a really good pre-show there with me, bleeding out.
Yeah, so while we're here at the top of the show, why don't you tell the fine folks about the situation you're about to endure as you're about to embark on a little medical adventure.
That's right. Yeah. So I'm actually having something. I'm having a surgical procedure done tomorrow, Wednesday. Or I'm sorry. Yeah, maybe. No, it is. It'll be tomorrow, Wednesday, by the time we get the show out. That'll take care of this thing. It's called a fistula. It's on my behind, and it hurts like hell, and it just bleeds really, really badly. So I've been dealing with this for a year now. So it's
welcome to real life, folks.
Real life. This is honest to God. Yeah, you get real life here. So it's so we've been basically just think of it like a huge. Think of it like a cyst that has a tract that goes somewhere and it just drains. It just drains blood. That's all it does. It just bleeds. And so I found a really good surgeon. We're gonna go. She's got me scheduled up to go in there and do the deal and clean it all up and hopefully get me back on my feet, because it's been a long time since it's like normalcy, where you're like, this isn't normal. This needs to be taken care of.
Yeah, your description of this is probably one of the most metal things that's ever happened on this show, so I really appreciate your contribution.
Yeah, like right before the show, I stood up to get a piece of paper to write down some things, because I take notes during the show, and I look down, I'm like, oh, I am sitting in a pile of blood. Like, this thing, what it does is it'll seal up for a little bit of time, and then all of a sudden it's like, nope, boom, drain, and it looks like a gunshot wound. That's what it looks like.
Good grief. You gotta be stopped.
It's like a crime scene.
And your expected recovery time is, will you be ready and able to absorb all things BlizzCon, or are you gonna be hemmed up like a mummy?
No, I think I'll be able to absorb things BlizzCon. I think I'm going to be down and out for maybe a week or two at this point. I don't know. We'll see. Last time I was down and out for about a solid week. So this time probably the same thing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'll record. I'll record from bed. I don't care. I'm going to hook this stuff up there. So I don't.
This show stops for a few things.
That's right.
Yeah. Just keep this train rolling, especially in this time of year. We what's the old saying? Neither rain nor sleet and all that jazz. Nothing could keep us away during BlizzCon time. I mean, that's
right. That's
what's happening. But other than the medical misadventures that you're having, how is life in game at the moment? Any significant things?
Yeah, it's actually, I'm working on 6,000 spare parts needed to upgrade my nullifier essence in Mechagon, which is...
Wow.
Oh my god. So I'm trying to get rank 3 for this thing, and it's really just for my prot spec, and I've just been I've been focusing on Fury for the longest time, and now I've been trying to get my prot stuff up, and I'm having a lot of fun playing prot because I have a really good DPS spec in my prot gear and everything, and I'm doing a shit ton of damage. I'm actually having a lot of fun with it again. Like I had a lot of fun in Legion playing prot. And then in Battle for Azeroth, I decided I just want to flip it over and do Fury. And
great decision.
Oh my god, I love playing Fury, and I finally got my ink pod the other night in Raid, which is I bonus rolled an ink pod with a socket on it, which is nice.
Congratulations.
Other than that, we got ahead of the curve this week, defeating Heroic Ashara.
There you go. There's a real achievement. Congrats.
Yeah,
on that.
now we're working on Mythic Lady Ashford, which is she's a pain in the ass.
Watch your feet.
We're 3 tanking this thing. It's actually quite the strategy. Yeah, it's actually kind of fun. But other than that, I've been taking part. We're going to talk about Brewfest stuff. I've been doing a lot of Brewfest. I like the new stuff that's out there. We're gonna dive into that.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it right now. But other than that, how about you? How's your life in WoW been?
Well, we're still banging away. We've got 2 bosses left on Heroic, and man, they are tough. There's no question about it. Might need to bust out a Vantis rune next week, this week, somewhere in there. We just need a little extra, oomph, a little strumph, a little something to get in there. It's just, those last 2, there's a lot going on. Having to go, different places, different phases. You're moving around, trying to maneuver all these ads and different stuff. There's a lot on deck, really. Mm-hmm. Our raid team, God bless them, we've never been the best at movement, and so with some of these, they kind of catch up to us a little more than others. But we're making progress. It's slow but steady. We're getting there, and I'm sure that we will get our ahead of the curve achievement. We don't have another raid on deck. I mean, we do have 8.2.5 coming right now, which obviously we're going to talk a lot about today, but there's no new raid, so it's not like we're worried about, oh shit, this thing's going to shut down next week and we got to rent out some method players or something. So we're still banging away, but we'll get it. And in game, Brewfest is here. Happy Brewfest to all. It's one of my favorite times in game, so I'm trying to sneak as much time as I can in when, frankly, outside of game, I'm as busy as I've ever been, so it's just... I feel like every moment of my day now is scheduled. It's like every hour, I'm like, okay, I got time to sneak this in, and then I can go do this, and I got to catch up on this, and I got to do this thing, and, having a sick child at home today, I actually got a little bit of extra stuff done, which it's not a great way to catch up, but, it's what life is now. But I'm excited, man, because this is the time of year when this is the best. Because fall is always my favorite time of year. That's just a given.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's like my most. I said this last time. This is like my most Warcrafty time of year, and we've got BlizzCon going on. We've got one of my favorite holidays going on. I'm just waiting for this fucking weather to die down, because it's going to be damn near 100 degrees again this week and super windy. God. And then I think by the weekend it's supposed to plummet down into like the high 60s. So I'm like, yes, come on.
Oh, there you go.
Let's get going.
That's the weather you want.
I'm sure when Daddy Pat Crane from Convert to Raid moved out here earlier in the year, he had no idea what he was getting himself into. So I know you listen to the show religiously, Pat. Welcome to California. And 100-degree heat. Yeah, we're not in Minnesota anymore. So, yeah, it's good times. But, we've got 8.2.5 going live. Probably as you're listening to this, maintenance is scheduled for quite a long time. I think 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. So we're looking at a long one. Maybe you're listening to the show during then. We'll try to catch you up on the major stuff while you're waiting for that. But first, we have a very brief but very exciting, happy ending to last episode's rage segment, so I'm not even going to waste time with an intro. I'm not going to do any other editing because, frankly, I've got to hurry up and get this damn thing out tonight, so I'm going to save myself. I'm cheating, folks. That's what I'm telling you. I'm cheating. And we're just going to say this. Last episode, we were here. We were raging about this DDoS bullshit and how there was some moron going out there and blowing up the Blizzard folks and keeping us out and all kinds of stuff. Well, guess what? They got him. They arrested his ass or her ass or whoever's ass or their asses from Blizzard. I have this quote. Immediately after the distributed denial of service attacks against our game service began, the Blizzard security team worked around the clock with local and international law enforcement agencies to track down the source of the DDoS. It is our understanding that within a few days, authorities were able to successfully identify and arrest a suspect. Hooray. We did it, Nav.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it. We brought enough awareness to this subject. Right. It resulted in an arrest. So our rage has finally paid off, my friend.
We'll take credit. Absolutely.
Congratulations and well done. All right, so like I said, 8.2.5, that's really the big thing this week. So why don't we go ahead and talk about that and a little bit of Brewfest updates in our news. All right, so as you may be listening to this, it is entirely possible that Warcraft is down for maintenance as patch 8.2.5 is going live. We got pretty late word on this happening. I think that we had seen a lot of stuff on the PTR and stuff was getting fired up and worked out and all that jazz. But, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt a lot of folks were looking at October for this one.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting it because we had discussed it just briefly, like, when do you think the patch is coming out? And then all of a sudden Blizzard pops out there with, oh, by the way, it's coming out next week. Like, wow. Okay. That was quick.
And it seems like
we weren't expecting that.
Yeah. And not at all. I don't think that we were, I don't know. Sometimes we try to prognosticate, a little too deeply into the crystal ball and then expect maybe a greater delay than is warranted. But yeah, I don't think that I had the 24th on my calendar for this one. So, but be that as it may, it's here. It's right on the doorstep as we're recording. It's live as this sucker's pretty much going out. And it's got a whole bunch of stuff that's going to spread out over the next several months because essentially this is the patch that's going to lead us through BlizzCon. After BlizzCon, I mean, this is probably, 4 months worth of content, essentially?
Oh, yeah.
Because we're
probably
looking at
more.
September, October, November, into December, because we've got anniversary stuff wrapped in here. We'll touch on that in a second. And that's, still several months away.
Right.
So, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and we're probably going to be dealing with a lot of stuff that's going to be gated, too. I mean, I know they're saying that everything's going to be released, but it's not just going to be like, here it is, boom, and then done. There's probably going to be like, a little bit of gates put in there. So
for some of it, for sure, and
yeah.
we'll see because they haven't given us dates on everything. Just the fact that this is the patch going live, we'll have all the information loaded up. We're looking at approximately 5 weeks now before BlizzCon is where we are at this point. So trying to look at the calendar and figure out, okay, well, they've been pretty good about releasing content and then putting things up on the PTR. They've been super secret about 8.3, whether we're having an 8.3 or not. There's a lot of conjecture about whether or not we're just going to skip right into the next expansion. I'd be kind of surprised if we did not have another raid or something in this expansion.
Yeah.
That would not be a total shock.
Even a mini raid or something. Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's something. I mean, even if it's just a little guy.
I mean, we still got we got a lot of things going on. We've got the war campaign, which they said on the preview that Saurfang and Anduin are still dealing with Sylvanas, and then we still have the gigantic sword sticking out of Azeroth that we still. Yeah. I mean, that just can't.
Which we all seem to have forgotten about.
yeah, it's still out there.
Yeah, and when we're looking at all of this, because I'm looking down the timetable, right, and this expansion to me seems like it should have another, not quite a year perhaps, but it would make sense to have this patch and 8.3, 4 or 5 months down the line, maybe not 5 months, but 4 months down the line at the most, and then that lives and breathes for 5 or 6 months, and then you get the next expansion, putting us into next summer. I mean, that to me, that seems like the right time. If they announce an expansion at BlizzCon, that seems to line up all right. But
right,
you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. So, looking at 8.2.5, what we're actually getting on Tuesday the 24th, the first thing that they had listed, and I'd kind of forgotten about this, was they are updating the character models for Worgen and Goblins.
That's right. Yep.
And this has been something that I've heard people asking about over and over and over. And maybe it's because I don't play either of these races, but they seemed like they were fine to me.
I was going to say the exact same thing. Like, I don't get it, but I'm sure that there's, the people that play the two they're like, oh, well, I could use some improvement. I'm like, man, those character models look good the way they are. So I don't know. But
I mean, they're hideous, but I think the goblins look amazing. I know every once in a while, especially for us as plate wearers, you'll see somebody that's a Worgen and they'll have a helm on and it's all stretched out and weird looking. And I mean, I've seen some of those issues. But on top of this, I was kind of expecting some kind of heritage armor. I didn't see anything about that either.
No.
Is there no heritage armor for goblins and Worgen?
No heritage armor. No.
None of that sweet Witcher 3 vibe that you're looking for on your
I know.
on your Worgen?
Oh my god. That'd be great. I'd actually roll a Worgen if that was a case.
Then that's all you talk about is Witcher 3 again, and then Sal will send us more hate mail.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yep. Friend of the show, Sal, from the Dark Moon Herald, really doesn't like your Witcher 3 talk. Thanks, Sal.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have Worgen and Goblins getting their updates, and the faces and animations are getting updated. That's great, and if you play those, congratulations. You've won the lottery. I'm still waiting for my human heritage armor, and I don't know what's taking so long. But I'm sure that Chris Robinson has a great plan for all of this. Really, the big thing for me, though, is the whole 15th anniversary goings-on, and that's technically part of this patch. We don't know exactly when it's going to happen. Probably sometime in November-ish is when we're looking. They have an anniversary gift listed here, which will have, that's where you'll get your little Nefarian battle pet. Some other gimmicks for boosting your XP and rep gains, which Lord knows I need those because I'm still way far behind. And some other stuff, including a teleport to the Caverns of Time, which it's only usable during this event, but I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I never get tired of the gimmicky summoning and portaling and teleporting items in this game. And I've probably got 10 of them at this point, and I never get tired of finding another one.
No, I'm right there with you.
I've got ones I don't even use, and I just like having them. So that'll be kind of interesting. And why, you ask yourself, is there a teleport to the Caverns of Time only usable during this event? Well, let me tell you, because Chromie's got our raid. The raid that we've talked about a couple times here, that you will be going back and reliving some of the greatest battles of all time in Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, and Cataclysm. Sure, why not? Cataclysm too. But BC Wrath, yes, those are great fights. Let's fight the Lich King. Let's bring him back. Let's do all these things. And that's going to be sort of the anniversary raid. And hopefully that's not the mini raid before the next expansion. I don't think that that's what we're looking at here. But I believe that if you clear this sucker and you get an achievement, it's called Memories of Fell, Frost, and Fire, you get the Deathwing inspired mount.
I am so on board. I am so excited for this mount. I really am.
That's a good one.
I cannot wait to go through and do this.
Now, to enter this raid, according to the post, you do need a minimum eye level of 380. So
That's easy.
If you're bringing in your alts, just do a couple extra little runs there to get them blown up. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, I do too. Absolutely, yeah.
And not only that, I don't know about you, but I have a pretty good feeling our raid team's going to take a dive at this.
Oh yeah, you know what? These are the types of things that we kind of enjoy towards the end of expansion, are the little fun raids, because the current raid gets stale, and then the people are like, oh, let's take a break, and then something like this comes out, and it's not difficult. It's just fun to get your friends together again and go do something, and everybody gets a mount, and
Yeah, Lich King 25.
It brings back the community feel to retail that Classic has.
Yeah, watching Lich King 25 break up guilds. I think I went through 19 guilds during that part of the expansion. Nobody could stay together. Yeah, that to me, that's the big one, because as we pound it into the ground here, nostalgia junkie overload is not something I shy away from. So very excited about seeing that and doing it with a new raid team, I guess, because the people that I did those raids with, I don't even know if many of those people play anymore. The raid team I've been with all these years, I've never played any of these raids with them. So it's kind of exciting to go and do it with a new group in a way. So I'm looking forward to that. And then, of course, on top of the raid, on top of the gifts, we also have old school Alterac Valley coming back, which I know you've expressed you're very excited about.
Yes, I can't wait to jump in there. I had a lot of fun back in the day doing Alterac Valley, and like all Saturday morning, afternoon, just,
Why did it take so long?
Sync. It's because so two things would happen. One, the Horde would either come out and just dominate the area, and then the Alliance would just turtle all day, which means they just sit at their base. Right. And then, and as long as nobody's dying, or anything like that, you weren't going to lose. But
how did you win? Like, what did you have to do?
So if you were Alliance or Horde, you basically, there are objectives on the map. Like, you would go and you would, you'd cap like Tower Point, or you'd go cap, these other places. And then you could also spawn there's heroes on the map that you could spawn, and then you take those heroes and you'd follow them along, and then you push them all back. And then the objective is you're trying to cap all these towers and burn the other side, red versus blue, out of resources, and then kill their general in their base. And usually what would happen is you would have a small group of people try to go in there and do it, and then usually the Alliance side would go in one at a time, or two at a time, or three at a time, or something like that, and then the Horde would just pull stuff in at you and then wipe you out. It just took forever.
Well, I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out is for those of us that never played the old school version, I mean, you still have to go through, right, and kill the bosses and cap the towers and do all that kind of stuff. Why is it so? How is it so different that it took forever to do it back in the day, but you can do it in 10 minutes now?
Well, because what happens is if the other side's just losing, like I said, you just turtle, you just go hide in the base with the main general, wait for them to engage, and then attack the raiding force alongside the boss. So you've got the boss damage going out, and then you've got people coming in. You just target their healers, kill the healers, and then the rest of the raid just basically falls over.
And that could last for a whole day.
Oh, it could last. It would last for a very, very long time.
Good
yeah,
Lord.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, looking forward to that. Well, I mean, for those of us that haven't played it before, it should be interesting. And Alterac Valley is really the only PvP that I do, and by that I mean maybe twice a year I jump in just to kind of feel a nostalgic rush of AV.
Yeah.
And then that's about it. So, but we do have that coming down the line. We don't necessarily have dates for everything just yet, and I'm sure that they'll tell us more. But there is the WoW 15th anniversary, all the goodies wrapped up in this patch. Sure, they'll have more to come. Maybe even at BlizzCon they'll talk about them. And because they did say that there are some other in-game goodies that are unspecified, So you never know. They might have a couple other surprises around the corner. We'll see. More relevant to where we are now in Battle for Azeroth, they did tell us that this segment now, and this was kind of a surprise, this patch is going to conclude the war campaign.
Yeah.
Again, I think this is coming a lot sooner than most people expected. And given the rampant speculation about 8.3, does it exist? The next expansion, is it the Shadowlands? Is it an old god thing? Is it a god of death thing? Whatever the hell it is, we do know at the very least that the conclusion of the war campaign, those random quests that you've been doing since the beginning of this expansion and then continuing to get new pieces of as patches roll out, it will conclude in what they're calling this final chapter. Nav, how do you think that it ends?
Oh man, I'm hoping that it's not going to be Siege of Orgrimmar 2.0 where it's just Siege of Stormwind, and I really hope that I'm hoping that, and people are speculating that Jaina's going to die. This and I'm like, I don't think Jaina's going to die. We know Sylvanas isn't going to be touched. I have a feeling it's just going to I think we're going to see Wrathion come back, and everybody's going to be, he'll be like, no fighting, no whatever. And then Sylvanas goes off and does her thing, and something will come up where it's like, we knew that there was an evil old god underneath Teldrassil the whole time, and that's why Sylvanas did what she did. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm more like, I'm fixated on that damn sword in Silithus, and I'm fixated on what's the end game for Azeroth. I'm trying to figure out, what are we doing with, our Heart of Azeroth and all that kind of stuff. So as far as the war campaign goes, what I would like to see is, I would like to see the two sides. I would like to finally see some sort of Horde and Alliance collaboration on something. So I don't know. My guess is as good as yours, I guess. I don't know.
Well, they have done a good job of trying to keep us guessing. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I'll say this. There's no clearly obvious answer in my mind, because they have so many threads out there all at once, which is what they do, and I think they do a good job of that. And they could make a variety of choices that, in my mind, would make sense. It just kind of depends on, obviously where they want to go. Mm-hmm. Looking at everything, so I was thinking about this. We found out, okay, the war campaign is going to conclude. I went back and I watched all of the cinematics, all of the in-game quests, all of the in-game cinematics, everything in chronological order. There's a couple videos out there on YouTube if you want to see this. And I was trying to kind of get a handle on, what is this story trying to tell us? Yeah. What is Battle for Azeroth trying to convey? And where does it make sense for certain things to happen? And yeah, you can be real shitty and snarky about it. I'm not saying anything. It's a bad game. Well, then you shouldn't be listening to this podcast. You shouldn't be playing this game. So goodbye. But I'm looking at this and I go, okay, well, Sylvanas clearly had some kind of intention early on, and what it seemed like was just to establish the dominance of the Horde, that it was a matter of survival. That's really what this was about. Was she felt that the two factions had become too chummy, and now that there was this Azerite, it could represent a threat in the balance between the two factions, and so it was better just to be the attacker and go out there, because maybe something like Arthas turning her into Banshee could happen again, or something to that, something catastrophic to that level could happen. I'm going to attack. I'm not going to let this happen because I've been overrun before, and yada, yada, yada. And when I was watching particularly the Warbringer short about the burning of Teldrassil, it really, I don't know how you explain any other way other than she wanted to try to stomp out all hope. She says, you believe in hope, whatever, and then here, watch, dying night elf, I'm going to blow up your home, right? There's not a lot of wiggle room there.
Right.
So I've heard people say, oh, well, it's because there's this ulterior motive or whatever the thing. If there is, they did a terrible job of conveying that. I'll say that because, I mean, it was totally hidden. There's no hint or whiff of anything else going on other than she was trying to get the upper hand. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then as we go through, there's all the stuff with Derek Proudmoore, with Bane, with Thrall coming back into the fold, with Jaina seemingly kind of softening a little bit, Anduin MIA for the most part. I don't know what he's doing. I'm starting to get a little concerned. So we have all these threads out there, plus we have an ancient old god-infused weapon in Xalatath, which that's not good either.
Right.
So where are we going with all this? Well, to me, it seems like we have to have this confrontation with Sylvanas and the other leadership of the Horde. Clearly, Bane and Sourfang, they know she's bad. She's off on her own thing, and there's a schism there in the Horde, and I think this has to be the time in which that comes to a head. I think that happens in the war campaign. That Anduin and all of those guys, they join up, they figure something out, and maybe that's what leads into, as I've heard before, a Stormwind raid, or possibly the raid there in what the hell is it? Where do the Tauren live?
Thunderbluff.
Thunderbluff. Thank you. Sorry, Horde. Somewhere in there, that I can see, or maybe there's a war front somewhere tied up in this. If there's going to be a conclusion, that to me seems like it has to have a breaking point. And we've discovered all the lands, so it's not like we can go to some other island and fight, I guess. Or we're bringing back the Dragon Isles now, and we go, hey, Wrathion, where's the Black Dragon flat been? Oh, we've been over here on the Dragon Isles, just chilling. And welcome. You guys want to fight here too? Okay, great. That doesn't seem like a conclusion to me. That seems like we're just going to the next place to fight. That seems more like a next expansion or a next raid thing. So there seems to be a confrontation here that needs to happen. Maybe there's some subterfuge going on. You finally split Sylvanas off and get her alone, and she finally bounces. And then we focus on, I don't know, N'Zoth, because now we have an old god breaking loose. And they did talk about how Magni is back with more quests with the whole Wrathion deal. So maybe there's some interplay there. I would assume that there's some. Maybe Khadgar comes back. Where the fuck has he been? Nobody knows. Being Dadgar somewhere. So, yeah, it is hard to tell. It is hard to tell. And I'd like to think, kind of going back to my original point, I'd like to think that the point that this story is trying to tell us is that ultimately where Sylvanas was trying to say that, we're weaker in this state, that we're actually stronger in this state where we're all together. And that is something that Warcraft seems to go back to whenever these faction splits. But having Bane, having Saurfang, who is respected very widely across all faction boundaries, and Anduin, all these guys coming together, maybe pissing off the Night Elves. Who knows? That could go wrong. But bringing them back together to fight off the greater evil. Because at the end of the day, that is kind of where we always end up going. It would be nice to see something maybe a little different take on that, and maybe we'll get one. But that's where I think we're going, is with the ceasing of hostilities. Let's put it that way. I think that's where the war campaign is going to conclude. And then we'll go to Magni and we'll say, hey, how about this big sword, bruh? And he'll be like, we're just going to leave it here. It's part of Azeroth now. Or maybe Azeroth rises up out of the actual Azeroth rises up out of the planet and grabs that sword and goes flying off.
Yeah, she transforms and rips it right out of herself.
That'd be amazing. Pulls a big lion-o.
Yeah.
Titans, ho! Then they all come back and Illidan's perched up on Aman'Thul's shoulder. Anyway, we do have that to look forward to when it comes to the next leg of the lore and the questing and all that jazz. It seems like there's a lot of theories, like I said, about what's coming next, and I think that's what's informing most people's guesses, whether it's Shadowlands or God of Death Or, I mean, what was the one I saw today? That they're just going to straight up bring Arthas back just because.
Oh, wow. Okay,
boy.
yeah, just because.
I'm like, they might. I'm not going to complain, but you never know. So that's it with the quests. Those are kind of the two main legs that we do have left, and I'm sure that there will be more information on those coming in, possibly gated. As to your point, I could see where we're not going to get all of that chunk at once, that perhaps that's going to come over time, maybe through some gated questing through our followers or champions or whatever the fuck we're calling them these days. That kind of thing, I could see that. But it's coming. We're going to see. We'll find out. On the, I guess, more technical side of things, you and I were talking a little bit about this before we started recording. They are going to now be instituting, as of 8.2.5, a new party sync system, which I think we're both pretty high on. So,
yes.
Why don't you tell the folks about that and give us your thoughts about this new tech we're dealing with.
So what's really cool about party sync is, if you have friends that are leveling alts, or like you have your friends that came back for classic and now they're playing retail because they got to 60 and they're bored and they're like, oh, let's go check out retail. What party sync does at this point is it lets you temporarily have your level adjusted. So it makes it so that, your 120 character can drop down to level 60 and go quest with your lower level, friends, which is really cool. And not only does it bring you down to 60, it brings your skill. It brings your skills down. It brings your armor down. It brings all that stuff down. So it makes it actually kind of challenging for you. And so you can go and work on quests with your friends, and as long as you're close to their level. So an example would be your friend is 55 or in the 50s range, and you want to go quest with them. Well, you can hook up, do party sync, you drop down to level 60, you go hook up, you meet up, and all of a sudden they're sharing quests and you can quest with them. And you don't have to play catch up. You don't have to say, oh, I already finished that quest. Nope, it's just the two of you having fun, and you can go and do that. And they have it broken down, so like original WoW is the max cap is 60, and then for Burning Crusade it's and Burning Crusade and Wrath is 80, Cataclysm and Mists is 90, Warlords is 100, Legion is 110. So it scales you down to those levels. And it's just, I think it's a really, really nice feature. I have a couple friends that have come back to play Classic. Like I said, they're playing retail. They're trying it out. I'm still a little too high level for them. So once they get closer, and it's coming out tomorrow, which is great. So once they get closer, I can hook up, do party sync with them, and and just scale down. And you lose your Azerite traits, your abilities, the talents, all your trinket effects. All that stuff will just go down to a reduced level, so that you can kind of feel what it's like to quest at that level again. So I'm looking forward to it.
Now, one of the other aspects of this is that they're going to have a replay quest feature. Yeah. Which I'm very interested to see, because, every once in a while there's a question like, man, I really like that, or that was really fun, or maybe there's some kind of reward that you can get that you weren't able to at the time, because they were talking about how you can get a reward for replaying a quest that is appropriate to the current level.
Right.
Are there areas that you can think of where you really enjoyed the questing and might be willing to do that again? Actually,
oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, hands down. Winter Spring, loved doing the quest in Winter Spring. And I'm I liked the higher end zone, like I want to say Eastern and Western Plague Lands. Those areas were a lot of fun to quest in. I had a lot of fun in those zones. I don't want to say the blanket. Wrath of the Lich King was great to level, and it was fun. But I'm trying to think of like the old original WoW zones, the content that I really enjoyed. And like I said, Winter Spring, Plague Lands, even Feralis. Feralis was a fun. I thought it was a really, really neat zone. The atmosphere, the vegetation, the animals. I thought Feralis was really nice. But yeah.
I was going to say Grizzly Hills.
I was gonna say,
I know it's like the cop out answer, but man, it's just that good.
It is that good. It really is.
Anytime you can spend time in there, but really, when you're looking at this from a 30,000 foot view perspective, we'll say it seems like as time goes on, they're trying to break down as many barriers as they can that prevent people from playing together to the point where, I mean, are levels essentially becoming meaningless? I mean, is there even a point to having them at this stage?
It really is. I mean, it's getting pointless to have the levels the way they are, and the main thing is, the trek was great, the leveling, the questing, that was great, but now we're at the point where we're always experiencing, hey, power creep, so then they want to do an item level squish, or they want to do a squish all around to bring your characters back into check to make the numbers work with the game. And also trying to, hey, I have this character that I love to play, it's my only character I love to play, I want to play with my friends, but they're just too low level, and now they've put these quality of life, this quality of life improvement into the game, and it's Blizzard knows what they're doing, and I don't have a problem with anything they do to make it so that I can game with my friends. So I know all the classic people are going, oh, it's the quality of life is what killed WoW. That's a lot of those quality of life things killed WoW. No, the game evolved, and I think we all need to evolve with it, and it's just the way things are. People don't want to work a 40-hour work week and then come home, and maybe there are some, I don't want to speak out of turn here, but I know to make the content and gaming with my friends easier for me, I'm all for that. I'm at that point where I don't have the time to sit and do that. I dedicate nights to raid, but other than that, it's just I'm getting older as a gamer. I want the content, I want it quick, I want the accessibility to be there, I want to be able to game with my friends really like on a whim. Hey, we got like 30 minutes, let's go do something. Great, party sync it up, go do some quests, have some fun, do a dungeon, and okay, good night, guys. And that's exactly it. It's so. Well, shit,
you're about to bleed out over there in between quests, so I mean, we really don't have time to mess around here. But yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. Is this game is unique in the sense that it's like a living being in that it keeps growing. It's not a static. It's not like the old days where you picked up a cartridge and that was it. What came on it? That's all there was. That's all there ever was. I mean, I pick up, Tecmo Bowl today. It's the same Tecmo Bowl as it was back in the day. There is literally no difference, no updates, no changes, no shit.
Right.
With this, you have exactly what you're talking about. A player base that's getting older, people that are in different situations, I think, as a whole than they used to. You have movement in levels and places where we're going, and all of the stuff that comes in between, the systems and everything else. So it's this living, breathing thing that continues to evolve, and so you have to try to find ways to, I think, adapt. And this seems like another one of those types of moves where level restriction doesn't mean so much anymore. It happened with our leveling, where it was like, hey, level where you want. You don't have to go Borean Tundra, right, or the other zone. You could pick any one of them. Yep. You can go anywhere. When Legion came out and they were like, yeah, you can start in any zone, whatever you want to do. What? That's crazy talk. What? I have to have a path. What are you talking about? Nope, you can go anywhere you want. So it seems like there's more of this going on. I think that's great, because especially when you're leveling and doing other things, I know we're just dealing with this now with a classic. As soon as you have a friend that plays a couple more hours than you do, you're on completely different tracks.
Yep, exactly.
And either one of you has to wait, or one of you has to play twice as much to catch up. And with something like this, you don't have to do that anymore. And bemoan it if you will, but I think that's a great move. So Party Sync we have coming on. Something that has turned out to be far more controversial is the Recruiter Friend program is coming back. We don't know exactly when. Apparently it's going to be soon. But the big thing with this is that there is a whole bunch of cosmetic and other content that is locked behind getting your friends to come on board and play. And people have been quite angry about this. Totally understand, because I'm looking at this and going, well, all of my friends who play already play. I have nobody else to bring on board. I've already done your bidding, Blizzard. So unless I want to pay for a separate account for 12 months, how am I going to get this cool Harrison Jones cosmetic gear with the backpack?
Yeah.
I'm not.
I mean, no. And at first we were just dealing with a mount for Recruiter Friend. Now we're dealing with so many other cool items that come with Recruiter Friend. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, because I would be the type of person that would open up a second account and just pay for it, just so that I can get this stuff, because it's that cool. I mean, it is that cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's a title, I think. There's a tabard. There's a pet. There's the what they call the attire, the renowned explorer's attire, which is all
transmog.
Yeah, there's a special enchant. There's a whole bunch of stuff.
And the backpack.
The backpack, which people have been screaming for forever.
Yep.
Nope. Cloaks for you, fool. You're stuck with that forever. So yeah, so we do have that coming back. They are doling out rewards essentially based on the amount of time that your friend plays. So at 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11, and 12 months, there are different rewards being given out, and they include a monkey pet, a 2-seat mount, a title, an enchant, a tabard, a flying mount, which looks like an old school kind of Wright Brothers plane. That rucksack you mentioned, and then the full-on what they call a grizzled outdoors person appearance, which is sort of this Harrison Jonesy type thing. And it's all really cool stuff, and it's unfortunate that is totally gated behind that, and there's no, as I've seen several comments point out, this would be a great archaeology reward.
Oh my god, yes.
Makes total sense. So I can't say I'm really with this one. Like, I appreciate the whole Recruiter Friend thing. I think that's great. Again, it goes back to what we just talked about with trying to bring people on board and getting people to play together. They didn't even do this before Classic, which would have been a really smart time to have done this with all of the people coming back. So Blizzard gets me on a lot of things. Not this one.
Right.
I think that this is a mistake. And I hope that there's more to this that we just don't know yet, or there's more to come or something, because I think gating all of this exclusively behind something that frankly is not accessible to a lot of people, it's not a good look. So we'll see. We don't know everything. You never know. So we'll have to jump back on this when we can. But beyond all of this, beyond the anniversary, beyond whatever campaign we're working on, or Rathion's beautiful visage coming back into our lives, or party syncing, or whatever, the single biggest portion of patch 8.2.5 is the Honeyback Harvester mount, as it is now come to be known. If you all recall, BlizzCon, they showed this mount. I lost my mind. I was very excited. A bee mount. It looks amazing. I never thought I'd be into this, but this is my jam. I'm so excited. Where is it? Nobody knows. Months go by. Patches go by. Nobody knows. Is it here? Is it there? Is it a secret? Nobody knows. Not finding anything. And lo and behold, finally at last, this is the patch that contains it. But what's that? There's a prerequisite. What is the prerequisite? To have the Bumbles the Bee pet? Oh, I don't have that. How do I get that? Oh, it's at least a week-long grind for a thing? Oh, shit. So, ladies and gentlemen, in case you hadn't heard, In order to get your Honeyback Harvester mount, you do in fact have to have the bee battle pet known as Bumbles before you can actually open up the quest line that is required to then farm the rep that you need for the mount. So if you have not done this yet, go out on Wowhead, your resource of choice, wherever. There's a pretty good write-up on there. You have to complete a certain amount of the Mildenhall meadery quest chain. You have to farm up what's called the Annealed Honey Amulet and turn that in. And then you got to do some other stuff. And then there's some daily questing. And you have to feed the bee. And there's a whole thing. And apparently it takes 7 turn-ins of this daily quest to get the fucking bee. But then once you have the bee, once you have the Bumbles, then you can seek out Barry. Gotta find Barry, our buddy Barry, who is standing apparently by a boat near the meadery in Stormsong Valley, and he's covered in bees, according to this. That's right up I'm reading. And from there, you pull out Bumbles out of your pocket, and that's not a euphemism. It's really just pull out Bumbles. And from there, you'll go on a whole adventure. And then eventually, after grinding some more rep, and you'll have to get some jelly. You're going to be grinding up some jelly, so I hope you brought some jars. And then eventually, you're going to have jelly, and you can get your mount. And it's confirmed it is an Alliance-only mount. Suck it, Horde.
That's the main reason you want it.
I will admit there's some amount of satisfaction because I know that the mount distribution has not always been equal. Yes, I know the Raptor mount or whatever that the Horde got was not all that dissimilar from other ones that have been in the past, but not every mount has been faction shared. So let's all get over ourselves. And yes, Alliance bias is in full effect, and I'm very happy about that. So I will be wasting a bunch of time doing this. Will you, Nav, be engaging in the Great Jelly Gathering of 2019?
Oh, I will. I'll end up doing it. Absolutely. I said I wasn't going to do it just because I'm very set in my ways with my mounts. I like my Alliance mounts, so I'll probably end up doing it anyway. I'll participate in it. I'll do it.
Yeah. And one thing they did say about this is that there is no time gating on this one. So really it's just how much time you want to spend collecting all of this jelly currency. Apparently there is a few ways to do it, and I recommend that you read up on that. There's a great post on Wowhead that walks you through this whole thing as usual. They put together a pretty good guide, but yeah, it's going to take some time, and I'm sure I'm going to waste a bunch of it doing it. But I'm very excited that finally, after all this time of waiting, it's finally in game.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to say that it's going to replace my time lost Proto Drake, but I will ride that one fairly often. So that's your basic breakdown of patch 8.2.5. There's a whole bunch of other stuff going on in there. There's other updates related to classes and quests and a whole bunch of other stuff. It's not just this. This is kind of just the major hits that we wanted to touch on this week. So I recommend you read through the patch notes as always. They're pretty comprehensive. You never know what sort of undocumented changes there will also be, because we inevitably have those as well. So keep your eyes out for those. I'll try to retweet anything I see. Nav, I know you'll do the same.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We're going to be on top of that as much as we can, and hope everybody has a lot of fun. I know I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see where we're going, folks, and we'll find out how, at least from the war campaign perspective, this all concludes, and we'll ride our swarm of bees into into glory.
Yeah.
Before we head out, like we said at the top of the show, Brewfest is currently on.
Yeah.
And we'll be running through October the 6th, so it's live right now. And you can head out to the entrance of Ironforge or Orgrimmar to take a whack at all of the festivities going on this year. And has all of the usual ram racing and beer drinking and token gathering and wolpertinging all that good jazz that we usually do. But we do have some new stuff this year, and I think that these are some worthy additions. And for you, Nav, I know you've already jumped into it. So what have you
That's right.
seen so far, and what are you enjoying?
So I managed to get the Tabard of Brew this week, and I love this tabard. It's a brown tabard.
Yeah.
It's got 2 mugs on it. Other than that,
It's so on point for this event.
yeah, it really is. And it's something, and it's not just an event transmog. Like, you can transmog it all year round if you want. So it's really nice. One thing I did, I am taking part of all the festivities in Brewfest, especially the Brewfest Chowdown event, where you basically you queue up and you click on the benches that are. You may have seen it when you walk into Brewfest. You'll see all these flags. The flags show up on your screen. It's green, blue, red, and yellow. The flags light up, and that's the Brewfest Chowdown event. I've not seen that before. That's new to me. I think it's new to this event.
Yeah.
You click on the little seat, you sit down, and they serve you plates of sausage and ale, and then you just gorge yourself, and it's actually quite disgusting but fun at the same time. So it's definitely something fun to do. On top of that, there are the standard RAM event where you take your RAM and run it throughout. You run oh gosh, it was right on the tip of my tongue, the name of that town. Anyway, you take your RAM and you go get some ale and you come back, and then you take the RAM, you go through Iron Forge, and you announce all the Brewfest festivities. On top of that, you've got your goggles that you wear, and you're looking for pink elephants all over the place. And
yes.
It's I'm having a lot of fun with it. I have a lot of fun with it because when you go into it, you get the weird, Oktoberfest music, the Brewfest music, and things like that. And
I seem to hear it now.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a fun one, and the Chowdown sort of competitive eating challenge that's going on. It's pretty funny to watch where you're having to balance eating versus choking. And this is something that's very near and dear to my heart as someone who has had to go to the hospital to have a piece of steak dislodged from his esophagus. I really can appreciate the tender balance of trying to gorge yourself without dying.
That's awesome.
It's great. So I have already secured my first victory in the Brewfest Chowdown, so I just need 4 more, and I can get my sweet trophy, which I will proudly display for all to see. And also, now that the Dark Irons are part of the Alliance, right, where they've been brought into the fold,
yeah,
you can't necessarily make them always the bad guys, even though you can still go get Corin Dyer Brew and go kick his ass down there in the underground bar there. But they have brought in 2 new invasions this year on top of the usual Dark Iron one. The Chug and Chuck Ale Mentals and the Shoe Pesky Hosen invasions are around. So every 30 minutes, one of these various types will run in there and cause some havoc. And then I think it's once a day you can turn in the reward for having chased them off or beat them back or whatever you've done.
Right.
So they'll give you, I think, a good handful of tokens. And you're getting all these tokens. Okay, what are you spending these tokens on? As you mentioned, there's a new tabard. The tabard's pretty sweet. Like you said, it's like 2 clinking beers coming together. There's also a new Hearthstone, which, like I said, I'm always up for new gimmicky types of ways of portaling yourself around town. I've been using the one from the Winter Vale for some time now. It puts a little Santa hat on you, and then it snows, and you do a little dance when you're doing your Hearthstone portaling. So that's what I've been using. So I'll check out this new one and see if it's any good, because I'm sure I'll get one of those. There's also the usual quests and mounts and exotic beverages and all that kind of stuff. And I just really enjoy it. And I don't know why. It's just got this great vibe to it, and it's fun, and it's stupid, and it's kooky, and you're getting drunk, and you're chasing after stuff, and you're killing pink elephants, and it's a perfect example of why I like Warcraft, because it's just this wacky, weird, fun nexus of activities.
Right.
I can't really put my finger on. But one of the things I realized was that the first year that Brewfest was in the game was my first year of playing.
Oh.
And I think that maybe that's one of the reasons why I love it so much, was because I was a relatively new player, and this was a new holiday that had come out onto the scene. And so it was this sense of, wonderment, because nobody knew what it was, and there were no real guides back then. And so it's like, oh, it's this new thing. What is it? Oh, it's Brewfest. Oh, look, it's new. It's different. And I don't know. It's that, it's that childlike wonder that you never want to lose.
Right.
And I think that brought a piece of it, and I will always enjoy it. God bless Brewfest. So yeah, if you're into this sort of thing, or you still need your meta achievement and all that other stuff for whatchamacallit, the mount, right? Isn't there the Proto Drake mount that they give away for the holiday achievement? So. You got to get in there. So you have until October 6th, and I recommend you head down Ironforge or Orgrimmar, go check it out, win some stuff, wear some Synth Brew goggles if you don't want to drink, I guess. I mean, it seems it's the antithesis of the entire event, you weakling. Just drink. Go. Peer pressure. But it's there, October 6th. Have fun. Enjoy yourselves. And I think that'll do it for what we have to say on this whole round of activity. And from here on out, it's going to be all BlizzCon all the time.
That's right.
Because I have a feeling by the time we get back, we're going to have a whole bunch of BlizzCon news to share, conjecture, guessing, surmising, theorizing, whatever you want to call it. I have a feeling it's going to be all BlizzCon all the time from here on out. So everybody, enjoy 8.2.5, and I think that will wrap up this episode for us. So other than this fine program, where can the good people find you on the internet, Navox?
You can find me out on Twitter. I am at NAV_OX.
As for me, you can always find me on Twitter at Berzerker Rage, and this show at Unshackled_Fury. Feel free to contact this show with your questions, comments, or otherwise at unshackledfuryshow@gmail.com. And you can find this show on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Google Play. So once again, thank you for listening. Remember to keep your swords wet and your banners high, and we'll see you next time. Farewell.